This is Reckless chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin' with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Reckless.
But as a hang around at that time, I was putting in hang around work, prospect work, patch work. You know what I mean? I was doing it all. There's a situation over here. Me and my best friend were the first ones called. Patch members didn't even know what was going on when I was being sent to go do things. And in reality, a lot of clubs weren't going to let us do that.
No.
Or ask us to do it. And I think at the end, and I'm not, and the people I rode with then and the guys that were in that group that were patch members and stuff like that, they weren't bad guys. They were all good people, you know, in my eyes. They were, you know, very inviting, very hospitable eyes, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it was just a lack of people in an area.
Leadership, right? Or
leadership roles were all well then.
But if the leaders weren't around, they couldn't make a decision, basically.
Exactly. That's what it was. What it was is like there wasn't enough in the time period and area to give a decision on what should be done. So as a representative, like an ambassador, that's how I felt. You know, I was like an ambassador because I represented on different levels. So, you know, I was good at, you know, speech and talking. I was good at physically handling business if need be. I was good at, you know, representing in a very respectful way. So they were ready to let us just go. Here, this week y'all are doing this. Y'all are ready to patch in. Same week I got thrown under the bus though. Same week I got reprimanded for the old ladies leaving and me sending half the guys and then the other half staying with him.
So what happens? What ends up happening there?
Well, I was just knocked around a little bit, you know what I mean? And told, hey, you ain't the one to make that decision. Shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, nobody stood up for me. No patch
Of course
members.
not. Of course they're not gonna. They're not gonna.
You know, no patch members came forward and said, oh, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wanted to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like this. And I'm okay with it, whatever. So the kind of that week, that was my decision. I said, I'm not patching in. Because if nobody's got the balls to stand up for somebody you consider for your brother, how am I going to go anywhere and do anything with y'all or be in a situation with y'all and feel like, oh.
Yeah, they left you hanging out to dry when it came down to it, right?
What really upset me more than anything is the old ladies in the situation were the ones pointing the fingers, and their old men were the ones who were backing them up on it. Like, right. And I was like, Bro said, you think that's the only piece of A you're ever going to get? You scared to lose her because you don't agree with her shit? You know what I mean? Like,
and old ladies, they're supposed to have no influence on the club, right? And do you find that they do?
Oh, off the record? I mean, like, you know, everybody knows there's power in the P. We know what I'm talking about.
So maybe there is no female members, but sometimes they're the ones running the show, right?
They're heavy influencers. It's called that way. They're heavy influencers on decisions a lot of times. You know, they destroy women, destroy relationships within clubs.
Have you seen it happen?
Oh my gosh, I think everybody's seen that happen. I think everybody has seen in one way or another how a female has had an influence that has caused a bam, right? You know what I mean? And it might not come right out 100% ever being said that that's what it was, but you know, deep down in somebody's head, he made a decision because Shirley said to Thelma that Thelma and Louise over here said that Jack over here was with Tom over there. You know what I mean? It just came through the grapevine like that. You know, some crazy stuff.
Now,
But
do you consider yourself a one percenter?
have I lived a lifestyle? Yes. Do I still live a lifestyle? Yes. Do I wear a 1% diamond? No. Have I been a diamond? Yes. I don't know how other people feel about it. I don't have any tattoos indicating it. I don't have.
Do you think it's a way of life?
It is. It is. It is a way of life. You know, 1% basically is, in my opinion. Now, this is nothing read. This is nothing anybody else has ever said because there's so much controversial out there about. It started in the 70s off of a newspaper article. It started with this in the 50s with the racing of the club type stuff. You know what I mean? Like this guy over here could say it was this or that. Do we know? Like, what's the very first time anybody ever said or considered? I don't know. I'm not going to say. I can read it all day long, but half the shit we read ain't real anyway. So you never know. But me, my opinion is like, are you willing to live a certain way because you don't want to be guided by mainstream life of the government? Are you willing to put on the line life and respect and love for brothers to be there for them in certain times? Can you jump on your motorcycle today and wheel and ride a state over to take care of business because somebody called your brother a fat lard ass? Or, you know what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's really it's a hard definition. Like that whole definition I gave you sounds so ridiculous, but I guess it's infinite. It's an infinite way of life. But 1% life is infinite. Let's put it that way. There should
So
be
where
nothing. There should be nothing to stop you from whatever it is you're doing, whatever's in your way, whoever you're with. It should be infinite.
so where does your life go from there? From when you say I'm not doing this with them, where do you go from
Well,
there?
I kind of took another break and just rode and did whatever I wanted to without anything. Never got no slack from them guys. Really, the fact that after that happened, I was told at one time I was 86th. So anytime anybody that was ever around me before then seen me, they literally would ignore me. Like the guy that was my best friend that I rode with every day that I did some dirt with,
Yeah.
he went in and patched in. After that, that's when I learned a little bit more about him, about who I was, about what I meant to certain people. He literally just kind of left me hanging. And I seen him a couple of times. He was fully patched, and literally he just straight out ignored me. Like it did not look my way. And
Wow.
yeah, and even at one point where he actually walked right by me and left where we were at, got on his bike and left. And I'm like, but you know, there was a couple others that would see me if it was just them by themselves, or if it was two of them that had the same thoughts about me, would approach me and say, "That I don't care." You're
Yeah,
80.
well, yeah, that's what they'd say behind your when they're with you, but then when they're with the other people, they're like, "Ah."
You're right, and I understand that. In a sense, I understand how they represented. They wore a patch of where they felt like, all right, the word is he's 86. Don't talk to him. He just left us hanging. Blah blah blah. In front of these guys, whatever. I mean, I don't think they ever voiced their opinion on the situation as in a negative way towards me, or even in a positive way. They just kept their mouth shut and just said, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But out, I've seen it. You know, I would see one or two here that would literally approach me, hug me like I was still one of them every time, and tell me like, I don't care about that. That we know the situation. We know it's stupid. That doesn't mean to me about who you are to me or who you were to me. So we I just basically I didn't see a lot of them no more as much as I was, you know. And see them going through. And then I went through a phase of started doing more farming and back home life because I moved back to the country and stuff. And I was in a relationship with a girl I was with when I was riding with them. And the reason I got in a relationship with her because it's one of those 2 o'clock in the morning stop type people. And
Yeah.
couch surfing, had all my stuff in storage, you know what I mean? And she was like the last resort. Like at the end of the night, we were dead tired. We end up at her house, me and a couple guys sometimes. She was cool, inviting, hospitalized, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
she took care of things for me. And so me and her actually ended up together. And then uh, later on found out why she was like she was, but that's why we separated again. And I end up with see, this is how it did. You're right. Your question about the females influence a lot of stuff, and yeah, because I ended up with another female who was a president of a female support RC for this same club.